Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. So today is Sunday, April 12th, 2020. I haven't recorded a video for quite a while because I've been busy with university classes. I am studying Indigenous social work at the First Nations University of Canada. And I really enjoyed my time there this term. This term is like pretty much over. I have one assignment left, one 10-page essay that I'm going to start tonight and it's due in a week. Other than that, it looks like I'm past all my classes, which is a real blessing. A lot of it I attribute to being sober and clean and just being healthy, talking, healing, reaching out and asking for help where I need it. So I haven't posted a video for a while because I've been busy with school and other things, and that's kind of my excuse. And I guess it kind of jammed out a little bit for a while, So I know that I want to do these videos, and I know that this is part of my growth and part of my journey that I want to be on. So I was sharing with my friend about I'm going to do another video, and she says, "Well, what are you going to talk about?" I'm like, "I'm not too sure. I have a couple of ideas." And she says, "Why don't you talk about your 1 year sobriety?" So I was like, "Hey, that's a really great idea." So on April 9th, just a few days ago, I celebrated 1 year clean, sober, and no drugs, no alcohol for 1 year. And someone had asked me if I'd ever had a year clean before in my life, and I don't really recall having a year clean. Even when I was in jail for like 7 months straight, and then I got out as house arrest, probation. But even then, it wasn't too long before I was smoking weed and doing drugs again and drinking. So I celebrated a year clean on April 9th, and it was challenging for this last 5-6 weeks. The whole world as we know it is on quarantine. the virus, the COVID-19 is going around, as my friend says, the coronavirus. I like how that sounds, so I start saying it like that, The coronavirus is out there. So people are wearing masks and gloves and self-isolating. The government has told everybody to stay home, self-isolate. So that's what everybody's doing. So it was like almost at the end of the term through school, we all got told to stay home, and they transitioned most of the classes to distance education, which is like emailing and stuff online. I was fortunate. I was doing a computer course already, so I kind of had an idea of how the computer courses should be. So it was a really easy transition for my one class. And the other 3 classes I had were online. So my 1 year sobriety, how did it happen? Well, in 2018, in November, I checked myself into Detox in Moose Jaw for 16 days, just to cleanse myself. After the 16 days, I checked myself into Calder Treatment Center here in Saskatoon for 28 days. So Detox, you go, you cleanse yourself, you get all the drugs and everything out of your system. And then on after that, I went to treatment, and treatment is where you start doing the inner work, the healing work, start addressing these issues. So detox, treatment to follow. That's the way it's meant to go. That's how they have it designed. That's how you're supposed to do it. So I tried to do it that way, and I did. While I was at treatment, one of the counselors said, "Hey," I was like, "I want to go live at a recovery home. I think that's be really good for my recovery." And he says, "Hey, there's one in Saskatoon. It's called McLeod House. Why don't you go there?" I filled out an application, got accepted. So I've been here. And part of the rules of this place is that there's no drinking and drugging, obviously. And we have to do 2 meetings a week, AA or NA. And I enjoy doing both because I had both diseases, drugs and alcohol. So I did the meetings, and that's when I became a part of the fellowship. And I started meeting people who could relate to the things that I went through. I really enjoyed the meetings. We only had to do 2 a week, but I always did more. And I enjoy them. And then I got myself a sponsor, and then I started working the steps. They always talk about working the steps. There's 12 steps that you're supposed to work through. So me and my sponsor got together and I said, hey man, can you help me work these steps? I don't want to, in April last year. So I was here since, what, December last year? January. And then in April, I had a relapse because I had a lapse. Relapse is when it continues, lapse is when it happens once. So I had a lapse. And I got drunk and it wasn't good. And because I'm an honest person, I came out and I admitted to people, I had a lapse. And I reached out to this guy and I said, hey man, I had a lapse. I don't want it to happen again. Can you be my sponsor? Can you help me work these steps? He said, sure. Since then, he got me a step guide from NA program. It has a bunch of questions after every step. So we work through these. After every step, we get together, we talk about the step. So that was a major thing for me is meetings, sponsor, the step work. Another thing that I do, I see a counselor all the time. Really phenomenal counselor. I talk to her about my issues, whatever I'm going through. I remember when I seen her recently, last time, she's like, you're doing so great. Why are you even here? You don't even need to come see me. And I was like, wait a minute. I said, the reason I'm doing great is because I'm coming to see you. See, it's keeping up with the disciplines and practicing them. That's what keeps us strong, keeps us healthy. I pray, I try to meditate, I journal, I go to church, and I talk with people, and I really tell people, like, if I'm thinking of drinking or drugging, I say it. I tell the person, hey, I'm thinking of this. I don't want to do it, but I'm thinking of it. Therefore, when you say it, you release the power that it has over you. Versus if you hold it in, it has that power over you still. So I'm a big believer in, sharing these things and talking and telling people, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm going through. You release the power. People are, it's honesty. So another major thing that helps me is the presentations that I do. I go around, I share my story, I talk about healing and recovery. And if I were to go and relapse or lapse, I couldn't get on stage and talk to people about recovery. It'd be full of, they'd be like, this guy's full of it. So it's the credibility that's really important to me. That's another major thing that helps me in my recovery. Keeps me sober and clean. 1 year was really hard to get. I was just talking with my friend on the phone. He says the second year is a little harder. But if you practice the disciplines and you stay up with them, you should be all right. So I'm really grateful that I celebrated a year clean. I'm really happy about that. I had a good time. I met a lot of friends. I learned a lot about myself. I did a lot of healing. And, it continues. The journey continues, man. It doesn't stop. A lot of people relapse after their 1 year. Because of the COVID and people self-isolating, I've heard a lot of people are relapsing and breaking. Like, I've had the thoughts as well, maybe I should have a drink. Who's going to know, right? But the truth is, I'll know. It'll lower my spirit, and I'll have to be honest with people about it, and therefore my credibility will be... So it's just not worth it for me. It doesn't, it doesn't weigh out. It's not real. It doesn't weigh itself out. The pros and the cons, it's not balanced. Balance is another major thing for me in my recovery. And a lot of people, I posted it on Facebook, my recovery. I had almost 200 likes and comments on there. People saying how I'm really inspiring to others, and a lot of people look up to me. And, it's just all these little things go into account. I was telling my friend, life is so different for me now versus 2 years ago. I would be worried about, I'd never have money. I'd be worried about taking in my SAR cans all the time and stuff like that. And now it's not even like that. I have money in my account all the time, and I don't need stuff all the time. It's such a different life. It's such a blessing to be able to not be dependent, not be chained by these drugs and alcohol. It's such a blessing. And like, my mind is clearing, and I'm pursuing my dreams, and I'm growing, and I'm healing, and I'm loving. It's really a blessing. And I just wanted to share that with you today. And actually, since we're on COVID and everybody's quarantined on lockdown, supposed to stay home, I think this is a perfect opportunity to start releasing a lot more content. So I'm actually going to, be looking forward to doing some more videos, get more content out there, and just, stack it up. So I'd like to thank you for stopping by my channel. Thank you for viewing this video. I hope it helped you in some way. And if you like, you can leave a comment, like, subscribe, tell your friends, share it, do the thing, alright? Blessed. Peace. Love you.